Hey everybody, we're going to do something a little different today. We're not in the shop, we're actually in the kitchen. If you're like us, we have a bunch of dogs. Or you have dogs. And as you can see, these are all of ours. There's 4 of them. Corgi and 3 weenies. We like to make them fresh food. We really like the farmer's dog option. Pre-packaged everything, it works great. Problem with that is that gets kind of pricey over time. So after doing the research, well, after my wife doing the research, we found out we can make our own. It's really easy. Take 2 really big chicken breasts, and then we get a bag of peas and carrots. They're frozen. A bag of the cut green beans that are frozen, and a bag of the frozen sweet potato. Each one of these bags goes in the microwave for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and you heat them just like that with the seam up, and then we put them in, but we'll go through that later on. So the chicken breast, this is what we get from Sam's Club. It's like $27 for the bag. We can make, I think there's about 10 breasts in that, so we can make this whole thing 5 times. And we use 1 bag of each and 2 chicken breasts each time. The sweet potatoes, we get those from Walmart. The sweet potatoes are $2 for the bag. The green beans are $1.18, and the peas and carrots are $1.18. So this is a lot cheaper, and once you make this, it makes about a full bowl. This is the bowl we put it all in afterwards to put it in the fridge. It makes almost this full bowl, and it lasts for 4 dogs about 5 days, sometimes 6, depending on how big the chicken breasts are. So the first thing we start out, get the water boiling. Once the water's boiling, then we'll put the chicken breast in. Once this water starts boiling, we'll be back. All right, now that the water's boiling, we're gonna go ahead and add the 2 chicken breasts carefully. And then we boil these for 17 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 17 minutes.
17 minutes, starting now.
So I have to stress, no seasoning can go in the water. No salt, no nothing. You just let the water boil naturally, because all that stuff is kind of bad for dogs. So don't add anything to the water. There is one more ingredient. Let me grab it. At the very end, when we're putting all this together, after it's all mixed together, we add a big spoonful of coconut oil on the bottom, let it melt, and then mix it all in. This is great for their coat, their digestion, and most dogs really like it. All right, when this is done boiling, we'll be back. All right, our timer just went off. While our timer was going, we put all 3 of these bags in, one at a time, for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, brought them out, set them here. We're gonna drain 99% of the water out of this pot just by hand. You just leave a little bit in the bottom. It just helps mix it up a little bit. So let's drain that. First, we turn the fire off, and that's kind of hot. Maybe I should put these on first. All right, here we go. Okay. Now that that's done, now the fun part. So you will need one of these. This is an immersion blender. This one's a Cuisinart. You can use anything. Walmart has a brand. I think you can get it with a bunch of accessories for like 30 bucks. I think this one's like 80. I'm not 100% sure, but any immersion blender will work. this is what we're going to do. And we're literally just going to turn it on and we're going to emulsify the chicken. And you're going to see a little bit of pink in the middle, but that's okay because it's going to continue to cook out as we do this. And we're just going to do this until the chicken looks like snow. Doesn't take that much work. You don't have to push real hard. Just real easy. Because you don't want to scrape up the bottom of your pot. Okay. We're just going to reach over here for a spatula. And we're just going to stir it up a little bit. Flip it over a little bit. All right, that's pretty much what you want it to look like. We'll get the excess out of here. Okay, we'll just, oh, you know what? We're gonna need that. Set that right here. Just look through this real quick. Make sure you don't see any more pink. It should all be pretty well cooked now, but that's the consistency you want. We're gonna start with the sweet potatoes. Pour them in. Okay. My wife likes to use this to actually crush them. You can also use the immersion blender if you want. It does make them more paste-like, and the dogs seem to like the bigger chunks, so we're not going to use this. In fact, I'm not sure why I kept that. We actually don't need that. So we're just going to smash these into smaller chunks. Not too small, but just smaller. I mean, our dogs are smaller, so they're not a big fan of giant chunks. But if you have a bigger dog, you may not want to smash them up at all. You might just want to mix them in. It's perfectly fine. Now we don't need this anymore. All right, now we're just going to mix this in. Get it all mixed up good. Okay. And now you're going to watch me struggle to open a green bean bag. Put the green beans in. You can smash these a little too if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think they like the green beans chunkier than they do the sweet potatoes. But sometimes you get some really big pieces of green beans, so then I'll smash them up pretty good. But these look pretty good, so I think just mixing them in is gonna more than squish them enough. And then we just mix it all in. Okay, that's pretty well mixed. So now I'm going to make me a little spot at the bottom. Like that. We're going to open our coconut oil. This one's almost empty, so big spoonful in the center. That's it. Don't need that. Once that's pretty well melted, we'll just mix that in. pretty thoroughly mixed. Take our bowl. And we're gonna just pour this in the bowl. Okay. And as you can see, it makes almost a full bowl. And this is a pretty big bowl. So we're done with this for the moment. So I put a little bit of crunchies just in the bottom. And we do that with each bowl. All the bowls, even the metal ones, they're filled with about the same, just a little bit at the bottom. And then quarter cup scoop. We just take it, good quarter cup scoop, just put it on top of each bowl. Now I am going to let this cool down a little bit because it is still pretty hot. Definitely don't want to give it to the dogs when it's too hot. Burn their mouth, then they'll eat it anyway. I have found out the hard way. It was a little too warm and then they throw it up right after, pretty much. I felt bad. It was terrible. But definitely want to let it cool down. And that's it. That's all there is to it. We'll let that cool down. And then they can't get enough of that. So what I like to do with this, trying not to set that on that hot spot, before I put it in the fridge, because I put it in the fridge pretty much instantly, I push all the food to the side, get a little bit more surface area. Actually just helps it cool down faster when it's in the fridge. I do not put the lid on it initially. I'll set it in the fridge just like this. Once it's cooled down enough, then I'll go back and put the lid on it in the fridge. And there you have it. Nice, great, fresh food for your dog. They still get a little bit of the crunchies in there. Makes their coat and everything look good, and they absolutely love it. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next one.